Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. Today's topic is a very good one as usual. Today's topic is trails. Here in Iowa, I do a lot of ditch trapping, and so trails is a very important part of what I do, catching fur. Now, before you go ahead and click off this video, remember that just because you can't trap ditches in some states, that doesn't mean you can't learn how the animals travel and also go right on the other side of the ditch onto the private property and set the trails coming into the private property. So don't think you can't take away something from this video, because you can. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. You know how we do, raw information. So first off, there are three characteristics that help show the definition of a trail. First off, the size of the animal. Anything from a mouse, squirrel, all the way up to deer, moose, elephant, whatever, has a trail if it travels very much at all. It has a trail, usually to food or water or whatever. So the size of the animal is the first factor into determining the size of the trail. Okay, the second factor is how often does that animal use that trail. Um, for instance, if it's got a short range, like here in Iowa, raccoons don't travel as far as coyotes, so their trails are a little more defined. So if the amount that they're using the trail is going to tell you, is going to show you a lot too. So that's the second characteristic. The third one is season. Okay, here's a for instance. Here in Iowa, I'm trapping ditch for raccoon, and it goes timber to corn. They come through, combine the corn. Shortly after that, the coon stops using the trail. Okay, so per the season changes, the food and water or the needs of the animal change. So that's the third factor. Okay. All right, so let's get started with how I break trails down, because I kind of break them when I started really understanding how the animals were traveling and really thinking about it in a kind of a backed off perspective, which helped. I broke them down into three categories. The first category is a small game trail, and I call those coon trails in my videos a lot. That doesn't just mean that raccoon are traveling them. Okay, so small game trails typically are going to be a U shape, right? Um, Now, in the summer, a lot of times the grass is just going to be over the top like this, so it'll form like a tunnel. Um, as the season goes along, late fall, winter, the grass dies down. It's not so much like a tunnel, it's just the U. Okay. Now, those small game trails, just because they could be primarily a raccoon trail, that doesn't mean you could have mink, you could have bobcat, you could have anything travel that trail. If it's convenient for another animal and it's traveling similar areas, it's going to use that trail. So just keep that in mind. Just because it's a coon trail or a small game trail doesn't mean something else can't travel it. Even a deer will jump on one every once in a while. So that's the first style of trail that I broke it down to. The second style that helped, and like I said, this helped me, so you guys might be able to take this and put it into play for you. Is what I call a predator trail. Now, a predator trail, I know raccoons are predators. I get that, right, guys? When I say a predator trail, I'm talking like red fox, coyote, and bobcat. Okay, and they do have trails. They take shortcuts that other animals don't take sometimes, and those trails are a lot more subtle. Um, Due to the less frequent use of these trails, coyotes have a bigger range, and so do cats and stuff typically. Um, they're not going to be as well defined. Um, on top of that, they have long legs, and they're not big like a human, so it's not going to be beat down. So a lot of times, what I'm looking for there is just a split in the grass, just the most subtle split, and it helps when you're looking at on an incline, because you can see it go up and back down, right? But it's just a subtle split in the grass, very narrow. Um, and if you have a trouble finding a predator trail, a good starting point's like, think of uh, your predator locations, right? And think how they narrowed down. A perfect example would be like along a fence line that meets the road ditch fence line. Um, Look at those spots, and you'll be able to find them. You'll know what I'm talking about. Some of you already do. So, anyways, my second style of trail that helped me a lot was predator trails. The third one, everybody or almost everybody's gonna know, is a deer trail. Deer trail are easy, obviously. I mean, they're beat down, very. I mean, they have hoofs. They weigh more. They're bigger animals. They travel them very frequently. So yeah, typically a deer trail, you could almost compare it to like a cattle trail. It's going to be beat down very well. Now, with that being said, just because it's a deer trail does not mean literally you could have mink, squirrel, coyotes, bobcat, almost any animal could travel that. Just because it's a deer trail doesn't mean it's specifically just a deer trail. Okay, so there are three categories, guys, that helped get me started, and then since then, all these years later, you know, I can usually typically tell if it's a skunk trail, or if it's a squirrel trail, or a mink trail. You know, you'll get better at identifying them. But if those three styles of trails help get you started, that's that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to help you guys out and make it more fun for you, right? Because at the end of the day, if we're not catching fur, it gets pretty rough out there, you know. When you're out there and you're running a good sized line and you're not catching much, that's tough. That's tough. So, um, anyways, guys, that's today's video. A very valuable video, I believe. And that's what we're here for. Real talk is where it's at. Appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one.